Hello lovelies, and welcome to a 12x12 scrapbook layout today. Yes, you heard me right, you are watching the right video. I haven't made a mistake here. If you actually have a look at what my little munchkin is drawing on, she's drawing on a 12x12 piece of cardstock. And I decided to make a layout for her birthday, and I thought this would be a great starting point. Her drawing on, she's got this little easel for her birthday, and yeah, she loves it. She loves to draw, loves to color, so I thought it would be a great starting point for my layout. I got her to draw on this piece of cardstock for me, and then I have turned it into the base of my layout, and there it is right there. So just suggesting the colors that I was using. Now I'm actually using some printables from Painty Hands, Jen Hall, the lovely Jen Hall. These are some of her Patreon printables. I was printing them off today, and some of these are from April and May, and the May's collection was very birthday based, and when I saw them I knew they would be perfect for Ruby's birthday. Ruby turned 2 on the 17th of May, so just last week, and well, actually this week. And yeah, they were just perfect. So this is one of the backgrounds from Jen's printables, and I knew it would be perfect to lay out my... Can you hear those crazies in the background? The football's on, can you tell? I'm in my room, but I still can't get away from them. But yeah, so this is the photo I've decided to use, and I'm just layering it on. This is one of the background pieces that Jen creates, and it was just too perfect. The colours were lovely. It's beautiful, and I knew I wanted to make that as my base layer. Now, I've got some of these cut apart pieces. I decided to make this little flower a bit 3D because I was covering it up, so I decided to print another part of it and cut it a bit so I could mount it on 3D foam. And then, yeah, it takes me a bit to work out my placement. I knew what I wanted to do. I knew the bits and pieces I wanted to use, but putting it all together, that's where it took me time, honestly. So I've turned it around so these flowers will be up in the top corner because I knew I wanted to use that big happy birthday down the bottom. 1, it's my title, and 2, it's also a really great embellishment piece, and I knew it was going to be bottom heavy, and I wanted it down in that bottom left-hand corner. So I'm going to layer it down here. I'm going to anchor it to my photo, but it is going to be hanging down a bit. It takes me a little bit to get going. Oh, see this scallop up the top? I didn't realize until I did the video about the mistake I made. I have this big scallop, and you'll see I get a smaller one out in a minute for the photo, but somewhere along the way I mess up and I put the little one up the top, and then later on in the video you'll see me take it off because I decided to put the big one up there anyway, completely forgetting that I originally had the big one up the top. So I had this big bunch of presents. This was another one of the printables. Everything here I'm using is a printable. And I really wanted to use it, and I just couldn't make it work as an element down the bottom. I thought, hang on, if I cut it up... So this was actually drawn and printed as one block, big block piece. So I decided to cut it up, and out of it I end up with 3 little cluster pieces. The last one I use and put at the top of the photo, you'll see in the photo at the end. I don't actually record that part, but after I'd finished, I was packing up and I saw I had a little piece left. I thought, oh, I can make that work. So yeah, see this little piece here? I wanted to attach it to my photo. I totally forget about that, but you'll see in a minute. So I've decided to put my presents down the bottom around my title, and because it's very heavy in this corner, I decided to use the scallop up the top, and also just to draw, you know, a bit more of that colour and pattern in. Putting things together, when I glue things, this is where I always find I mess up, and that's what I do today with the scallop. I didn't notice until I'm watching the video back and editing it for you, so that's interesting. But yes, so I'm just going to glue all my pieces down, but I wanted to use foam dots for the happy birthday, and I actually only printed it on printer paper because I intended to put this in my journal, but then I loved it so much I thought I can make this into a layout, and so it's only on printer paper. So what I do is I glue it to a piece of cardstock and then just cut it out again and then pop that up on some foam. So I've got my presents down, they're nice and flat just with wet glue, and then yeah, I'm going to use foam adhesive for the happy birthday. I've used some foam adhesive on those flowers up the top. So the flowers were on the background piece, but I covered it with my photo. So to bring them back and also to embellish that top corner, like I said, I just cut out some more of those flowers and then just put it over the top. I also cut some more of that the green leaves out and tucked it underneath, just so it, you know, it just all goes back together a bit better. I'm going to attach the scallop. Still can't believe I did this. I had a big scallop up here, and then I noticed in a minute. So I'm drawing a doodly border just because I feel that especially when I use white cardstock with lots of white space, I like to do a hand-drawn border. It just ties everything together nicely, I find. And then I'm going to doodle over my scallop. I did intend to do a cluster up the top there, and when I go to do it, I'm like, this isn't big enough. I can't really do anything without it looking weird. So I pull it off, and I use the big scallop that I have to the left there, not even realizing that that's actually what I had intended to do originally. This little scallop was meant to be on my photo layers, but yeah, anyway. I'm also adding some bling because, well, I can, and I recently found a big stash of bling, and it just helps really add to my little clusters here. It just brings them all together, gives me a little few bits of, you know, little sprinkles here and there. I've used silver. I don't know why, just because I like it. I was going to use pink, but it was the wrong kind of pink, and I think the silver, well, they're clear. Clear or silver? Clear. It just works when you've got a bunch of different colours. This is where I decided to change the sculpt. Now, unfortunately, when I was putting my bling on, my page moved up a bit, so you can't actually see what I do up here. But I'm going to adhere down that bigger scallop, which works much better. And I'm also going to make a little cluster up the top. So like I said, everything is on the bottom left-hand side. So it's very heavy down the bottom. And having this little cluster up the top really helps balance that out. I knew I wanted to use a word sticker, so I just grabbed the nearest packet I could. Thankfully, I found something on there that suits. I think it's You Light Up My Life or something like that. I can't remember, honestly. I'm terrible for that. And then there was also this really cool little heart in the printable, so I cut that out, and that just helped make that little cluster up the top there, so that worked really well. And yeah, so this is just my idea of how you can use Patreon printables. Yeah, on a layout. I really was excited how this came together and how perfectly all these printables worked. So if you were interested in joining Jen's Patreon, head on over and yeah, show your support, because she gives lots of cool stuff every month. But anyway, that's it from me for now. Thanks for watching. Bye.